Have you ever looked back on your life and thought, if only I had tried? It's a quiet ache, not because you weren't smart enough, not because you didn't have the resources, but because something inside you whispered, wait, just think about it a little longer. And so you waited, and while you waited, the moment passed. Today I want to tell you about a hidden force, a silent enemy that has stolen more dreams than failure ever did. It's not fear. It's not doubt. It's overthinking. There's a Japanese philosophy the samurai used before every battle. It's not mystical. It's not abstract. It's brutally practical. And it might be the one thing that finally frees you to act before it's too late. Because here's the truth. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You need to remember what you already know. Let me show you how. You know the type: smart, capable, respected. They've spent decades building experience, navigating life's twists and turns with wisdom and grace. They are the kind of people others go to for advice. And yet, when it comes to chasing their own dreams, they freeze. Maybe that person is you, but you've thought about writing that book, starting that side business, learning something new, changing careers, even late in life. You've thought about it for years, and you're still thinking about it. You tell yourself you're being careful, that you're waiting for the right moment, that once you know a little more, once the timing's better, once things calm down, then you'll start. But deep down, you know, the perfect moment doesn't exist, and neither does certainty. So what's really stopping you? Is it fear? Maybe a little. But fear is natural. You've faced fear before and still moved forward. No, this is something quieter, more sophisticated. It wears the mask of logic and responsibility. It tells you you're being smart. It tells you to wait just a bit longer. It's called overthinking. And the reason it hits smart people hardest is because you can think through every scenario. You can predict every risk. You're good at it. But there's a trap. The smarter you are, the more convincing your reasons become not to act. You rationalize the delay. You polish your doubts until they shine like wisdom. And little by little, your confidence erodes. Not because you failed, but because you never gave yourself the chance to begin. Let me say this clearly. Overthinking is not intelligence. It's fear in disguise. It's perfectionism wearing a suit and tie. And it's robbing you of your most valuable asset, time. But there's good news. This battle isn't permanent. It's not a character flaw. It's a pattern, and patterns can be broken. In the next part, I'll introduce you to someone who was caught in this exact trap. Someone who, just like you, had everything except momentum, and how one conversation changed her life forever. We live in the most connected, informed, and empowered time in human history. You can learn anything from your phone. Start a business from your kitchen table. Get a degree without stepping into a classroom. Find strategies, blueprints, tools, mentors, communities. Information isn't the problem anymore. If anything, we're drowning in it. And yet, so many of us feel stuck, stalled at the edge of change, frozen not by ignorance, but by the weight of too much knowledge. Psychologists call it analysis paralysis. The brain's natural response to excessive input is to shut down. You compare, predict, imagine every possible outcome. And before you know it, you're exhausted. Before you've taken a single step. There's a study that estimates the average adult makes 35,000 decisions a day. Even more conservative studies suggest at least 400 to 1,000 conscious choices. Tiny ones, big ones. Constant. Each decision, no matter how small, drains mental energy. Now layer that with your fears, your past mistakes, your expectations, your responsibilities, your desire to get it right this time. That's not just a to-do list. That's a battlefield. And you're stuck in the middle, trying to find the perfect next move while the moment slips away. You research for months but never start. Plan for years but never leap. You revise, rewrite, reimagine, until the idea no longer excites you. And the worst part? You blame yourself. You think, I must be lazy. Or, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But no, you're not lazy. You're overloaded. You're not unmotivated. You're overcalculating. You're not lost. You're just buried under the noise. The real tragedy of modern life isn't lack of opportunity. It's hesitation in the face of too much, too many options, too many opinions, too many voices pulling you in different directions. But what if the solution isn't more planning? What if the antidote to overthinking isn't more thinking? What if the way forward is already inside you? In the next part, I'll introduce you to someone who almost lost everything to this mental trap, until one unexpected encounter brought her face to face with a truth that changed everything. Emily Carter had everything going for her. She was 28, smart, educated, respected, a business analyst at a solid mid-sized firm. She was known as the fixer. When projects stalled, she revived them. When tensions rose, she smoothed them. When customers complained, she turned things around. She had what you can't teach in school: intuition, vision, leadership. Everyone around her saw it. Everyone except Emily. Because when it came to her own life, Emily hesitated. Every opportunity that knocked, she greeted with a spreadsheet. A friend once said, "You should start your own consulting firm." And Emily did the research: business models, pricing strategies, tax implications. She ran simulations. She made plans for 3 months. By the time she felt ready, the moment was gone. Another time, a colleague invited her to co-found a startup. Emily hesitated, analyzed, second-guessed. 2 months later, the startup launched, without her, and it soared. She watched from the sidelines, smile fixed, heart heavy. It wasn't that Emily lacked ambition or courage. It was that she'd built a wall inside her mind, one brick at a time. Every what if it fails, every what if I'm not good enough, every what if I lose what I have. Brick by brick. She wasn't avoiding action out of fear. She was trying to control the fear by thinking her way out of it. But the more she thought, the more uncertain she became. The more scenarios she considered, the more reasons she found not to try. Because here's the truth: the future can't be controlled. And when you try to predict every outcome, you miss the only thing that's real: the moment in front of you. Emily didn't know it yet, but her life was about to change. Because sometimes all it takes is one person, one voice, one unexpected conversation to shake the foundation of that wall. In the next chapter, Emily meets someone who would challenge everything she believed about readiness, control, and success. And nothing would ever be the same. It happened on an ordinary Thursday. Emily was at a business expo, presenting her company's latest service package. She stood by the booth, professionally dressed, calm, prepared, confident. But only on the surface. She was explaining a project to a potential client when a woman, quiet and composed, paused to listen. She didn't interrupt. She simply watched. Her name was Ko, 56 years old, Japanese by birth, American by choice, an interior designer with a small but respected firm. When the presentation ended, Ko stepped forward. "You're very good at what you do," she said in a voice both soft and commanding. Emily gave the usual polite smile. "Thank you. I just do my best." "No, Ko replied gently. You to do more than that, but only for others, not for yourself. Emily blinked, unsure how to respond. Kos continued. I see potential in you. Real potential. And I have a proposition. She explained she was looking to expand her business, someone with strategic thinking, people skills, and business acumen. I want you to join me for a meeting, Ko said. Just to see. Who knows? Maybe a partnership? Emily's heart raced. This was it. Exactly the kind of opportunity she'd dreamed of. And yet, she didn't say yes. Instead, she smiled nervously and replied, Can I think about it? Ko nodded slowly. Not surprised, not disappointed, just understanding. Of course, she said. Let me know when you're ready. Emily walked away, heart pounding, mind spinning. That night, the familiar cycle began. The spreadsheets, the lists, the research, the doubt. For 3 weeks, she spiraled again, until Ko called. Emily, she said. Have you decided? Emily stammered. I'm still thinking. I just want to make sure. Ko interrupted, gently but firmly. Let's have coffee tomorrow. There's something you need to hear. The next morning, they sat in a quiet corner of a local cafe. Ko ordered green tea. Emily, a strong coffee, extra strong actually. Ko looked her in the eyes. Why haven't you accepted? She asked softly. Emily hesitated, then spoke her truth. I'm afraid I'm not ready. That I'll fail. That I don't know enough. Ko nodded. And when do you think you'll be ready? Emily said nothing. Ko leaned in. You won't, because you're not waiting to be ready. You're waiting to be certain, and certainty doesn't exist. Emily looked away, throat tight. Then Ko said the words that pierced right through her. In Japan, there's a concept my grandfather taught me. He was a swordsman, and before every duel, he would enter a state called Kunoseki. It means the world of emptiness, but not emptiness as in nothing. Emptiness of interference, emptiness of overthinking, emptiness of fear. She paused. When you fight with a sword, if you stop to think, you die. You must act. You must trust what your body already knows. Emily stared at her. Ko smiled, soft and sad. I invited you, not because you're perfect, but because I see in you what you've forgotten. Competence, vision, courage, but also paralysis. She reached across the table, gently touching Emily's hand. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start. And in that moment, something shifted. The wall inside Emily cracked. She didn't feel confident. She didn't feel certain. But she felt something deeper, clarity. I accept, she whispered. I want to be your partner. Ko smiled. Good. We start Monday. Monday came. Emily showed up early, coffee in hand, notebook packed, nerves humming like static. She didn't sleep much the night before, but for once, it wasn't anxiety. It was anticipation. Ko greeted her with a calm smile and a simple sentence. Let's just start. There was no onboarding session, no long PowerPoint, no handbook of rules. Instead, they met with a client that morning. The client wanted a redesign of their office space, something warm, open, and human. Ko listened carefully, sketched with bold strokes on a pad, and handed the concept over within minutes. Emily blinked. Shouldn't we refine that first? She whispered. Ko smiled. It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be real. We'll refine as we go. That sentence shifted something in Emily's mind. She'd spent most of her life waiting for perfect pitch, perfect product, perfect timing. But Ko didn't wait. She created, presented, adjusted in motion. And clients loved it, not because it was flawless, but because it was collaborative. alive, honest. Over the next few weeks, Emily started unlearning. She stopped obsessing over whether every document was just right. She started sharing drafts earlier, inviting feedback. She stopped rehearsing every conversation. She started having them. She made mistakes, and she didn't crumble. Because now she understood. Mistakes weren't failure, they were movement. She didn't need a 10-step plan. She needed the next step, then take it. The more she did, the more she trusted herself, not because she was finally certain, but because she had proof action works. She felt lighter, not careless, just present. And something unexpected happened. The company grew fast. Clients appreciated the honesty, the momentum, the absence of bureaucracy. Co had always been efficient. But with Emily, now unchained from perfectionism, they became agile. Not because Emily became smarter. She'd always been smart. But now, she was free. Free from the weight of what if. Free from the myth of certainty. Free to move. 6 months later, Co pulled Emily aside during lunch. "You're not the same person I met at the expo," she said. Emily smiled. "I am. I just stopped trying to control everything I already knew how to do." And in that moment she realized, progress doesn't come from knowing more. It comes from interfering less. For centuries, the samurai lived by it. Kunoseki, a mental state beyond noise, a presence beyond planning. To the Western mind, it might sound poetic, philosophical, even mystical. But science, it's catching up. In a groundbreaking study, neuroscientists examined the brains of people during peak performance. Athletes, surgeons, artists, entrepreneurs. They found something astonishing. During these high-performance states, one part of the brain became less active, not more. That part? The prefrontal cortex, the center of analysis, planning, and self-judgment. In other words, when you're at your best, you think less. You don't overanalyze. You act. You flow. This state is now known in science as the flow state. But it's the same idea the samurai lived by 400 years ago. One study with elite athletes revealed that when they tried to control their movements, their performance dropped. Why? Because conscious control is slower than instinct. Your brain processes around 11 million bits of information per second. But your conscious mind, it can handle only about 40. That's not a typo. 40. The rest is processed automatically. Through experience, memory, intuition, muscle memory. So when you try to bring everything into conscious awareness, you jam the system. Like trying to drive a car while thinking through each muscle movement. Now, I'll press the pedal with 22% force. You'd crash. Because driving isn't a calculation. It's a rhythm, a feel, a flow. Life is the same. It's not a machine to be engineered. It's a current to be followed. Neuroscientists call it neural efficiency. Samurai called it void mind. No mind. Mushin. Same truth. Different language. Same power. And here's the beautiful part. You've already experienced it. That moment when you lost track of time. When your hands moved before your thoughts caught up. When you weren't thinking, you were buying. That was Kunoseki. It's not fiction. It's not magic. It's you, at your most natural. But somewhere along the way, life taught you to interfere, to hesitate, to doubt what you already know. And now, it's time to return. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how to get there. Not by trying harder, but by letting go of what's in the way. So now you understand the concept. You've felt its truth in your bones. But the question remains, how do I live it? Not just understand it, not just admire it, but embody it. Here's the secret. You don't chase Kunoseki. You clear the way for it. Think of it like sunlight. You don't have to build the sun. You just have to open the window. So here are 5 simple steps to live with more clarity, less noise, and deep momentum. 1. Stop searching for certainty. Seek clarity instead. Certainty is about controlling the future. Clarity is about understanding the present. You'll never be 100% sure if your idea will succeed, but you can be clear about why you want to do it. And that clarity is enough to begin. Ask yourself, what's the real reason I'm drawn to this? Let that be your compass. 2. Train until you don't have to think. Confidence doesn't come from reading. It comes from repetition. Whether it's writing, speaking, building, cooking, leading, do it again and again until your body knows. Emily didn't overcome overthinking by studying more business theory. She did it by doing business every single day. Let practice replace perfectionism. 3. Act small. Act fast. Overthinking thrives in delay. Break that cycle. You don't need the master plan. You need the next step. And you need to take it today. Want to write a book? Don't plan the chapters. Write the first paragraph. Want to start a business? Don't build a brand deck. Call your first potential client. Tiny actions crush big doubts. 4. Accept error as part of the path. Water never panics when it hits a rock. It flows around it. Mistakes aren't blocks. They're redirections. When something fails, don't spiral. Flow. Adjust. Keep moving, remember. The path is made by walking, not by watching. 5. Trust the process, not the outcome. You can't control whether it works, but you can control whether you try. And if you show up, again and again, with presence and honesty, the result will come, not as a guarantee, but as a natural byproduct of being in motion. That's Kunoseki, not perfection, not power, but flow. And here's the beauty. You don't need to become someone else to live this way. You just need to stop interrupting who you already are. Because under the doubt, the planning, the fear, you already know what to do. Now, let's do it. In the final part, I'll show you the ultimate truth, that the flow you seek isn't somewhere far away. It's here, now. You just have to remember. Here's the paradox. After everything we've talked about, the philosophy, the neuroscience, the practical steps, there's something you need to know. You will never reach Kunoseki because you're already in it. Think about it. When you were a child, you didn't overthink playtime. You played. When you loved something deeply, you didn't analyze your emotions. You felt. When you did your best work, your best art, your most honest expression, you weren't planning every move. You were simply being. Kunoseki is not something you acquire. It's something you remember, a return not to ignorance, but to inner knowing. The world taught you to doubt, to plan, to be cautious, to wait. But underneath all the layers, you still know how to flow. You still know how to move without asking permission. You still remember how to live without the illusion of control. And maybe that's what freedom really is. Not more choices, but less noise, less interference, more trust. Trust in what you feel. Trust in what you've lived. Trust that you can act without having all the answers. Because life isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to begin. Miyamoto Musashi, the samurai philosopher, once wrote, "When you understand the way, you will see the way in all things." He wasn't talking about swords. He was talking about life, your life. So here's my invitation to you. Not to do something big, not to make a grand decision. Just this. Stop overthinking. Start flowing. That thing you've been postponing, it's ready. Even if you're not. So take one step, then another, and discover that Kunoseki isn't a destination. It's how life was always meant to be lived. Flowing, present, free. Thank you for being here. If this video sparked something inside you, leave a comment below. What's the one thing you've been overthinking and are now ready to do? And if you haven't already, subscribe. We're just getting started. And I'll be right here to walk the path with you.